My guest today called our prayer lines from the hospital bed of his grievously ill father because he remembered that was a powerful resource in his father's life. CLAYTON MALANOWICH joins me now from Calgary. Hello, CLAYTON.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So your dad had a heart attack unexpectedly on December 24th of last year, and you and your family were gathered in his room. Tell me what prompted you to call the prayer lines.
Well, over our lives, various things had happened to us, and like many people, bad things happen. And my dad was always calling. He's like, "I'll call Huntley Street, and I prayed for you." And of course, when we were younger, we were always like, "Geez, Dad, again?" he would phone, but it was something that he just always would do. It was something that he did for us, and when in our time of need, we remember that.
And tell me what that prayer was like then. You reached them on, you think, probably Christmas Day or Boxing Day. So for me, that's so impactful because that's a time when most businesses would be closed. You wouldn't be able to reach anyone. But thankfully, we have volunteers here who will work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You got somebody on those holidays.
Yes, I mean, it was, I guess, you just assume when you phone a line like that there will be somebody who will be there. And you're right, though, when I look back, it was, most businesses and cafeterias, for example, and people were, just nobody was around at that time. So you're right. It was obviously a time where, when most people are on holidays, there was a prayer line available for us to call.
What was the prayer like?
Well, I'll be honest with you, it was a bit of a difficult time in my life, so it's tough to remember all the details of it. But the basic piece of it was that there was someone there to listen to us. We explained what was going on, and they said a prayer for my dad and also for us. So it was an important thing, I think, for all of us to hear that.
I know your story continues. Your dad, they were going to take him off life support. He was in a coma. And on December 30th, they were going to take him off. You prayed and said, "God, I don't feel comfortable with taking him off life support." And he actually came out of the coma the day they were going to take him off life support. What did that do for your faith?
Well, for me personally, it just, I'd prayed about, having a sign from God that we were doing the right thing. I mean, I'd take your father off of life support I don't wish that decision on anyone, really. And so the thing is that, for the night that I prayed for a sign, the next day when we were going to take him off life support, he woke up and was able, and didn't just wake up, but was a person that recognized everybody was there. That's a pretty powerful, miracle really for me, and not just me. I think my family, and even I believe the medical staff that were there as well, because I don't think they thought he would ever wake up either. In fact, the neurologist put more tests on my dad after he woke up because he was confounded that my father woke up. He was sort of almost a world-renowned expert in the area, and
wow,
quite surprised that he woke up too. So it affected more than just myself.
You had that beautiful last week with your dad, and as he got sicker, you had prayed, "God, heal him or take him," because you didn't like to see your dad suffer, and he did pass away a week later. But you had that week with your dad. And, we know on this program, and we see it every day, that God answers prayer. And we're just glad to have a tiny part of your journey. You think about those resources of those prayer lines. We're asking people to support us this week to keep this resource going. What would you say to people who are considering supporting something like the prayer lines, being there all the time?
Well, I think it's, you never think you need something, but when you do and it's there, it's important to be there for you, right? So it's, all I can say is, if not everybody has the means to donate, and if they, but if they do and their heart tells them to do that, then I think it's an important thing to do.
Well, we're going to keep.
Change.
Yeah, thanks, CLAYTON, so much. We're going to keep praying for you and your family. I know you're still in those early stages of grief. Hey, if you're watching this, pray for CLAYTON and his family. You know those tough times when you lose a dad, and a dad of such faith. We pray that continues on in your life, CLAYTON. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You as well.